Today's Or Lechaf Gimel Iyar, Atafshin Ayin. This is Parshas Klali with Rabbi Gafni, Parshas Behar Bechukosai.
Very good. All right, so we're turning to Vayikra, chapter Kofar. Pasuk Yudal. Vayikra, chapter Kofar, Pasuk Yudal, and further. So this is in the area of the Parsha where the famous set of brachas that the Eivishter to the Jewish people occur. And there's numerous of the brachas, and they're all wondrous in their implication. We'll soon say a word about that in a moment. So anyway, the Eivishter says, "V'nosat mishkoni b'seichachem." I will place my dwelling place amongst you. V'lo sigal nafshi eschem, and literally my soul, or my nefesh, whatever that may mean by the Eivishter, will not literally repulse you outwards, or almost like vomit you out. So that presents the amazing question that if the Eivishter is promising to put his dwelling place amongst us, then why would he immediately say that I'm not going to vomit you out or become completely have to pass you out of my system or spit you out of my system. V'hisalachti b'seichachem, and I will go amongst you. I will literally walk amongst you. V'isi lochem le'likim, and I'll be a Eivishter for you. Ve'atem tiyu li on, and you'll be a people for me. And then it says, Ani Hashem Elokechem, I am the Eivishter, your God, Asher Hoitzeisi Eschem Meretz Mitzrayim, Miyesh Lahem Avodim, that I took you out from Mitzrayim, from the state where you were servants to them. I took you out of V'eshber Moiteis Ulechem, and I broke the Moiteis Ul, as Rashi explains that when you have the oxen and you put a rod across their necks to hold them together so that they will plow in the field, that the Eivishter broke literally the oil that was over our necks. And like we say every day in Birchas Kriyashma, we say Ushwer oil ha-goyim mi'al tavorenu, and break the yoke, as it were, the limiting stick over us of the goyim. V'oelech eschem kaimem yus, and I will conduct you uprightly, literally. Oelech eschem kaimem yus. So it comes on Rashi, and Rashi says, what is the mishkoni that David is going to put b'seichenu? Rashi says, mishkoni ze beis hamikdash. That's referring to the beis hamikdash. V'lo sigal nafshi ein ruchi kotzovechem. I'm not going to be repulsed by you, or disgusted with you. And the Rashi goes on to say that the word sigal is from a root word to literally be maflit, to cause a plateau, something that's swallowed in the walls of a kli, or in any given material which has been absorbed from another material. What you guys are learning here today are familiar with the union of plato, of a geila, of something which is a blio inside another keli, and you have to be maflit the tam, or even the mamoshes from the other keli, and that's a parsha in the Torah which is called Giulei Nochrim in Parsha Mata. We won't go into all that. So Rashi says that I'm not going to ever be disgusted or repulsed in a way that I would spit you out or drive you, or how do you call it, vomit you out with my nefesh, of your connection with me. So, as is the question of his, the intelligent reader would say, why did Rashi learn that Mishkoni was referring to the Beis Hamikdash, and it's immediately written that he didn't spit us out, the Beis Hamikdash didn't last any more than 2 sets of 410 or 420 years. And ever since then, there's been a tremendous amount of time where we didn't have the Beis Hamikdash. Particularly, that others want to learn that since it's not written with Nosati Mikdoshi, because the word Mikdosh would have been a more suitable word for the more lasting presence of Hashem, and Rashi says there Beis HaMikdosh. So it's well known that the Beis HaMikdash wasn't the Mishkan in the desert. However, there is a Gemara in the Sector Shavuos which says that you can call the Beis HaMikdash a Mishkan, and you can call the Mishkan a Mikdosh. Well, that's all you need to know, Gemara in the Sector Shavuos, in order to be aware of that. Therefore, some people say that in order to make the two fit together, we have to say that Mishkan refers to a presence of the Eibishter in us. V'nosati Mishkoni, I will put my dwelling amongst you, inside you, and that part of it will never cease, even though I may do other strict matters like drive you out of Eretz HaKodesh and the Beis HaMikdash. Although I always remain with you wherever you are, then my Mishkan will always be inside you, let's say. And that fits in very nicely with the Lashon, Nosati Mishkoni, and as he learned the Seporno, he learns Barichas, for him it's not usual to write more than a few words on each pasuk. He learns that wherever Yidden go, then the Eibishter's presence in them remains. Similar to what we find that the Bar Simcha of Lag Ba'ima, what Yesh Lema, that maybe physically you guys have gradually got over your efforts on Lag Ba'ima. But we have to have the spiritually. Levi's shaking his head. Well, you don't have to make yourself such a, little sort of balbatish, little bochel, but you can't get to sleep yourself out. But spiritually, we have to hope that not people didn't get over like Behar, but on the contrary, it's adding and continuing and going. So therefore, according to the Seporno, it's very good. He says that my presence of Rabbi so in the light of Lag Ba'ima, Rabbi Shimon Bar Yochai, he's the one who says in the Gemara Masechta Megillah that every place where the Yidden went, V'golus Shechina I Mohem, Golu leEdem Shechina I Mohem, Golu leBavel Shechina I Mohem, Golu what's the other place over there? Madai, Shechina I Mohem. So wherever the Yidden went in Golas, the Shechina went with them. And what is the Shechina? Loshen Shochanti, Loshen dwelling. That in every year there's a presence of the Shechina. Every year there's a walking kli to the Shechina. As I state in the Seporno, that's how he learns it. However, we have to say, the Rashi learns that the word Mishkan, is more talking about the dwelling place of the Eibishter, in a sense that this is where I dwell, not so much like a presence everywhere throughout the world, inside every Yid. And particularly, according to Rashi, we'd have to say that the diuk is like it's brought down in the Ramban. The Ramban brings that lo yisigal nafshi eschem, that my nefesh is not going to. So therefore, in the Ramban it would appear that in the Beis HaMikdash there was a nefesh, and that was the presence of the Eibishter in the Beis HaMikdash, and that never alters. Therefore, according to the Rambam, another great poskim, the kedusha, the Beis HaMikdash is always there. You can't go inside Yeah, the Azara, because if you do, then you chayav kores, rachmanin and klan, because the kedusha of the Beis Hamikdash remains in all of its teikif despite the churban. The Raavad disagrees with that, and the Raavad says it's lav davke. But the Rambam writes carefully that the kedusha, and that's how we paskin. That's how we are today. We hold that the whole kedusha of the Beis Hamikdash is still there. So the nefesh of the Beis Hamikdash can't be destroyed. The guf of the Beis Hamikdash maybe or not the nefesh of the Beis Hamikdash. Therefore, Rashi would say, "V'lo yisigal nafshi eschem." In other words, physically, I drove you away maybe from the Beis Hamikdash, but the nefesh of the Beis Hamikdash, my nefesh, which is inside the Beis Hamikdash, that will never part from the Beis Hamikdash. And then to back Rashi up and make him somewhat similar to the Sapona, maybe Rashi will also agree that in the Chanami, the Shekhinah goes partially with the Yidden wherever they go. But it has a special presence in the Beis Hamikdash. So we see from that these are pretty amazing sort of brachas, very encouraging. And then he says in the next pasuk, I will go literally amongst you, and I will be for you an Eibusha, and you will be my people. So Rashi says, I will go amongst you, etayel imochem began Eden, ke'echad michem. I will spazier. Tayel means to take a walk. Take a tayel. There's an expression in Yiddish, spazieren. That is, take a stroll. I will stroll together with you in Gan Eden, ke'echad mechem, just like any one of you, I will walk amongst you. V'lo yisiyu mizdazeim mimeni, and you won't be unable because of Shrek and Pachad to walk with me. You'll be able to put up with me. I'll walk around with you, and you won't all fall away. Even like Moshe Rabbeinu was the idea. You said to him that you can't possibly lo yisiras panah, you won't be able to see my face. Ki lo yirane adam v'choy. As they stated in Pasuk Yisisa when Moshe asked to see the Eibusha. However, in this particular case, I'll walk together with you in Gan Eden. I'll walk around with you guys, and nobody will be shocked or terribly, driven away by Pachad. He says, Yochel lo yitiru mimeni. Maybe you'll just be familiar with me, and I'll be just like one of the guys, to use an expression, and everybody says, oh no, Talmud Lema, the Pasuk says, V'hoyishi lochem le'elikim, I'll still be a divinity, and you'll still fear me in the sense of awe, and wonder, but you won't be falling from Pachad and unable to walk with me together. So that's an amazing thing. That tends to lift us into an amazing state of Gan Eden. So, what was you do it? And he salakti b'seichem. Salakti is like Rashi learns, walk around. Because it's like a reflexive term. It's not cholachti, and it's not eilech, but it's his halachti. I will go in myself, let's say. But that means to walk back and forwards. Normally, that's how we would. So therefore, what James is going back and forwards. What's he doing? Therefore, it's like a tiul. You walk a bit over here, then you walk back, and you walk around. So Rashi says it's Lashon tiul. And where's James going to be matayel with Yidden in Gan Eden? So ask yourself, where's Gan Eden? Where is it? What Gan Eden is this? Because if it's a Gan Eden after the passing of a person in this world, it's hard to say that because we don't really have in the actual 5 Chumoshim any statement in the Torah about the life after the passing of a person. We only have it in the Nevi'im and in odd places, and even there it's Beremes Lefira. And that's one of the big shilas in the great Meforshim. Why is it the Torah talks only about this world? No, it talks about the spiritual world and Olam Haba. And even the references to the life after Moshiach are also somewhat zgulati, how do you call it, like magical in the way they don't occur openly in the Torah. Therefore, when Rashi says that Hashem promises to walk with us in Gan Eden, what is he referring to? So we have to say in simple terms that Rashi learns this is referring to when Mashiach will come. That when Mashiach will come, the world will go back to be like it was before the Chet with Adam Harishon. In other words, it will be Gan Eden in the best and highest possible way it was before the Chet. And therefore then the Eibusha will be together with everybody, and it will also be Neshamas in Gufim, according to most of the great codifiers. And if I would be shy to say the Eibusha walk around with you in Gan Eden, because Rashi's not usually the type of Mephoirish that he paints all sorts of very high spiritual pictures, and he says one thing and means another. And if we could suggest, in other words, it'll be very Hamish, many of you guys won't be shrinking from me and falling away from Pachad, because that's when you're in this world. But just the same, you will have awe from me in the way that it should be. I say, that's the sort of what we could learn, Rashi say. Now it comes along the Pasuk, and it says that I'm going to be your Eibishter, that I'm the one who took you out of Egypt, I broke off your yoke, and I took you, or I'm going to take you rather, or I took you, I will take you, in a form of standing up, in a upright way. So it comes along Rashi, and Rashi says, I'm not going to deal with the other Rashis in this class. So Rashi, Bekoima is a kufa, standing up. In other words, like it's written in Shulchan Aruch, but you shouldn't really be that way. You shouldn't walk around, you should always walk around slightly bowed, as they put in Shulchan Aruch, because you should always be aware of the Shekhinah and the presence of Hashem, and you shouldn't sort of, puff yourself up. You don't have to walk around with your head hanging down between your knees or something, but there will always be a slightly bowed aspect to a person, just if he's walking around, on the street and in public, as they state in Shulchan Aruch. Edify, says Rashi says, however, at the time of this promise, I'm going to lead you dafki the opposite. I'm going to leave you with a koimazah kufa. You're going to be hold your head up. So that's like a hemshech. If the Eibusha is going to be walking around with us, in a familiar way in Gan Eden, then there'll be a certain hamishkeit. We won't necessarily have to go with, with the heads down. The awe will be a much greater, more spiritual awe, and therefore it'll be an inyan on the part of Yidden to walk in an upright way, because some of the great Meforshim say that indicates that you're not frightened of anything except the Eibusha. If you walk around in an upright way, that's got another mila to it. It shows you that you're not frightened of all the goyim and all the world and any pachad or any inyanim. No, you go gedafke with a confidence and a koimus chufa. The Eibusha is also going to be around. So you have to have awe and absolute majestical awe for him. But mamish fear not from anybody. Therefore, Rashi says, koimus kufa. If you guys remember, which I'm sure you do, and you may have learned that the Rebbe used to quote that pasuk, and the Rebbe tainas on many occasions, that since we're very close to Moshiach, to inyonim, which are for the good of Yidden, then Yidden have to be already in that way. They have to be become as a kufa, that they've got to stand up for their rights, and they've got to say what is theirs, al pi Torah, and what is magia to them for their own safety and for their own bitochin, and not be scared of the goy and bow down to the goy. And on the contrary, the Rebbe said that the whole tzorah, that all the tzorahs that are happening today, because the Yidden don't do that in front of the goy, his man hazeh, and they all sort of bend down and say, oh yeah, the boss, and therefore you have to be dafke b'koyim as a kufa. So the Yosid love it, that's how we're going to be And the point will be to show that we have only fear of Hashem, but not anything else, or not anybody else. Even though nowadays we are required to go that way because of the fear of Moshe. Although according to the way we just saw it, we're not going to have that type of fear of Hashem anymore. We're going to be very, as it were, united with him. He's going to be like a monster. And therefore, it's another form of fear altogether. And there'll be a mila to be bekoimazah. So that's basically the picture. And in order to understand a certain point about this Solvinum, we just have to decide what are these brachas we saw, in what period are they really referring. So the way we just learned in Rashi, it would appear that we're already talking about this man of the Gula, Liosid, which I don't like to use the expression Liosid Love, because it makes it sound as if it's still a long way off. It's any moment and any second. So Liosid Lovoi means, like the Rambam teaches in Hilchos Tshuva, that Olam Haba means that it's just beyond us, it's coming. Olam Haba, it's right around the corner. They state in the Rambam in Hilchos Teshiva. It's not. Just around the corner. The same with Liosid Lovoi, doesn't mean, sometime in the future, it's right around the corner. So if we look in other Rashis in reference to all these brachas, we don't necessarily find that Rashi just says the whole thing is talking only about the time of Mashiach. Sometimes, sometimes Rashi says in a rather partial way about the different brachas, and sometimes he feels obliged to at least throw us into a more ideal matzav, which would be when Mashiach and after the Geula, or even in this man of Tchiyas HaMetim. So comes on the Ramban, and the Ramban says that this is what you might call utopia. All these brachas that are written in the Torah are absolutely ideal state of a world where everything will just clap, as they say in Yiddish, everything will just work, and there'll be flocks and everything, and one thing will catch up with the other, and you'll have so much flocks that you want, crops, you won't know what to do with it all, and this year you won't finish eating all what you did from last year, and you got a new lot, and unbelievable blessings, that everything will be timely, and the Eivusha will be present to everybody, and the Beis Hamikdash will be there according to Rashi, and everything, and the payers will never go bad, and everything will. So the Ramban says that this is a union of Hanhoga Shalei al Piteva. For B'Teva Ha'olam, there's always a puncture somewhere along the line, to use the expression, or this didn't quite work, or the rain didn't quite come last season, so therefore we're pushing this season, or there's not enough water per cloud, or then we should go and give it away to the Arabs anyway, or all sorts of difficulties and all sorts of nices, but that everything should just clap, in this most amazing system, and all the flocks and the fruits and this and that. Even so the Rambam says, the Ramban, he says that that's Nisim, that's and he says it's dependent in the fact that Yidden will also be in a almost perfect way, also a bit beyond the normal teva of the world. And therefore, the pasuk begins, Im Bechukosai Iyar, and Rashi says to you, Ameilim b'Torah. You work tremendously hard in Torah, meaning that you give away all your time to Torah, and you give all your struggle and all your effort into Torah. Im is a condition. Im is a if. If you will do this, then this and this. So therefore, that's a im. And as it's brought down in Midrash Chazal, that it's a condition. Therefore, we have to say that Yidden being a male in Torah, and therefore, immediately when it starts the opposite of the brachas, which is just another couple of psukim, one pasuk away, v'im lo yishmuli, and you won't cholila v'cholila. Rashi says, if you won't listen to me, and you won't be a meilim b'Torah, you won't be struggling and horrifying in Torah. So we see that it's like either or. Either you'll be horrifying, or you won't be cholila and that's like the condition. So, I don't know if we really have a musig what it means to be a meilim b'Torah, because the word omal means, sweat and toil, hurrying away. But if you'll be like that, and you'll be devoted to Torah and mitzvahs and azar even, then you'll be l'mayla mi'ateva. Remember, the world will also function and even completely l'mayla mi'ateva. So the Ramban says, let's look in history and see if it ever really happened. And the Ramban says, rather sorrowfully, that he doesn't find in any period of history except David HaMelech, but even though there he said there was a fire, some sort of famine occurred by David HaMelech, and at the beginning of the Beis HaMikdash things were particularly good, but then very shortly after there also began certain charities. The Behar says, without going into all the details, so the Behar says the Ramban, he doesn't really believe that this Inyan that's mentioned in these blessings ever really actually occurred in history ad kan, and he said it's only going to be when Yidden will be in b'shleimus, absolute perfection in their avodah, and when the conduct of Hashem milmaila will also be absolutely b'shleimus, then we'll have these in Yonim, and he brings down a pasuk about Liosid, about the time of Moshiach. So the final maskana in the Ramban is that all these things are talking about the time of Moshiach. And that's the fascinating thing, that they tend to deal mostly with simple gashmistic chashbeinas, and not, all sorts of amazing promises about what's going to be. Rashi seems to vary his opinion according to the demand of the Pasukim, but it's an ideal situation. Sometimes it's talking about simple matters, sometimes it seems to be talking about Liosid. Maybe we could, with a deichach, we could maybe say that maybe Rashi means it. Anyway, Liosid, obviously all the simple things are going to be ideal. So maybe Ulay b'derech deichach, we say Rashi also learns that it's referring to the time of Moshiach. Ani musupak b'zeh, but Ulay. Maybe we can say that. So come to Islefi says that it's an amazing situation where everything is utopianly working the most amazing interrelation between the Aveda of the Mensch and the Yidden and the Eibishter, and according to Rashi, the Beis HaMikdash is there, and everything is as we said before, is klapped sehr good, as they say in Yiddish. It's all working and fitting in very, very fine. So I thought the question of fees there, what is this inyan that the Eibishter promises that he's going to walk amongst you, like Rashi put it into Gan Eden, and he's going to see that you go koima mute. So we find a very amazing statement in the Gemara Masechta Bava Basra and in Sanhedrin. I've got here Sanhedrin, because Rashi is a little bit more open here than what he is over there in Bava Basra. The most amazing Gemara. And then there's they call it a Medrash Rabbah, but it puts the Gemara in, they call it into the shade. Comes along the Medrash Rabbah and says, Mamish, the most amazing thing. So it's in the Gemara in the second Sanhedrin Daf Kuf. Yeah. So it starts off with a statement that Rabbi Yochanan was doirish in the Beis HaMedrash, and he said that Liosid Love, the Eibishter, is going to bring precious stones of 30 amas on 30 amas, and he's going to sort of like hack inside these stones. He's going to cut inside, and he's going to make a gateway for the Beis HaMikdash, or they enter into the Chotzer or the Azorah, maybe, or the Beis HaMikdash. And so it's written that there was a Talmud there amongst the public, and he heard, rubies or stones, as big as 30 amas. I mean, 30 amas are pretty big. I mean, 30 amas is about 15 meters high, pretty big. So So this Talmud, he sort of smirked, and he sort of, when he heard Rabbi Yochanan say that, and he said, we don't find, nowadays we'd be tremendously pleased to find a stone, precious stone, that would be as big as the egg of a small bird. Yeah? And he said, we have to look very hard to find that. And he said, hey, are you going to tell me that they're going to be dealing with precious stones that are 15 meters high? You understand? Yeah. So it's written, sometime after that he traveled on a ship, and he had a view of the Malachi HaShoret, and he was given a sort of a wondrous vision, I suppose, almost like a form of Nevuah, but it was in order to put him straight. He had this vision, and he saw the Malachi HaShoret, that they were cutting avonim, teivus, margolias, very big ones, and he wasn't able to measure them, but they were huge in size, and they're cutting them to sort of like make a gateway. So he says to them, "Hani lamai." He said, "What are these for? What are you hacking? Oh, if you want to yawn, at least cover your mouth. Edify, and you get these big cavernous, yawns. So what are these for?" So the Malachim said to him, "Oh, we are doing this for the Beis Hamikdash. We're waiting already for the building of the Beis Hamikdash. We're preparing these whacking great precious stones as a gateway and a hin and a her." He saw, but that's in effect what's going to happen. So he comes back to Rabbi Yochanan and he says, "Listen here, Rabbi," he said, "it's good for you to be a darshan. You're a very good darshan, and you should darshan in the Beis Hamikdash." So Rabbi Yochanan said to him, "I'm terribly sorry, my boy, but you are a malaglig al divrei chachomim." And there's a man Chazal in Masechta Brachas and brought down other places that somebody who's malaglig, he scorns and laughs and mocks the words of the chachomim, he's not supposed to remain alive. So they were sitting at Rabbi Yochanan, took a look at him, and he became a heap of bones. So now don't tell me you've never heard that expression before. I mean, I don't. It's not a nice one, but you've heard about it because you learned the story. No, where did you learn it?
About the field full of bones.
But that's not called a gal shalatomim. A gal means a little heap. There was a field covered with all the. No, you guys are not familiar. The story of Rabbi Shimon Bar Yochai when he went to live in the cave in Masechta Shabbos. What's written that he went to hide in the cave? Why? Because there was sitting a few chachamim. And one of them over there. He went and told what Rabbi Shimon said. Rabbi Shimon said very uncomplimentary things about the Romans. And this person, I'm not mentioning him by his name because there's a difference of opinion as to whether he was one of the Chachamim or whether he was just an informer. There's a whole difference of opinion about it. Anyway, he went and informed on Rabbi Shimon, and that's why Rabbi Shimon had to. That's why he had to sit 13 years in the cave. So when he and Rabbi Elazar came out, then Rabbi Shimon went over to a town and he helped them fix up about the Kohanim would be able to walk, where he showed them all the places where their graves. They used to walk all the way around the city because they didn't know where the graves were, because the Kohanim aren't allowed to walk where there's graves. So they made generally a road all the way around, a long, long way around to get into the city. And Rabbi Shimon, with his Ruach HaKodesh, went and showed them where the graves are, and so they were able to make a path, in such a way that the Kohanim wouldn't get within stretch towards the grave. You guys are not familiar with the story. So when he finished doing that, all of a sudden he meets up with this guy. V'nosim bo einov, v'nase gal shalat So, did he put his eyes on him? Like it's written here. Mom is the same thing. And he became a heap of bone. Now so Gal Shal Tomit. If you guys would learn about Lag B'Omer the way it should be, you should know that expression. It's a defar. It's an amazing thing that in the Medrash it's written in more detail. In the Medrash Rabbah it's written in more detail, and it's written that maybe Rabbi Shimon wouldn't have done that. I'm sorry, this is interesting. I mean, maybe Rabbi Shimon wouldn't have done that to him, but in the Medrash it is written that wherever Rabbi Shimon went and revealed that there was a grave to help the Kohanim, he went and he moved the sign that Rabbi Shimon had made into an area where the grave was. In other words, that Rabbi Shimon made signs outside the graves that they should be able to, and he moved in such a way that it would walk over the graves. In other words, he was really bad news, that he went around draying what Rabbi Shimon had done. So it's written that Rabbi Shimon caught him in the end, and he looked at him and made him a gal shalah hatomi. So Rafi said, it's interesting, in the Medrash, Rabbi Shimon didn't take the big kapeda on him ad kedi kach for what he did to him. He took it because he messed him up when he was trying to save the Kohanim from being nitma and save the whole city having to go around when they should have convenience. So therefore he was angry with him. He made him a gal shalah chomet. According to the Gemara, it's more because of what he did to him. He saw him, you point. In other words, you're the one to put me into the mire. So, yes, if one could say a whole Pirish and a whole Arichas, why, how, what, it's not the place to go into it. But suffice it to say that according to the Medrash, it's very interesting. This guy was really bad news, he was against Rabbi Shimon. Anyway, whatever. So Rashi says over there, what's that? He became a gal shalatomi. I mean, he just passed away. What about all the flesh on him? Gal shalatomi means he's a heap of bone. So anyway, I see we have to go further because we don't seem to be arousing very much curiosity in the minds of the readers. Well, he's raising his eyebrows ever so slightly in a form of curiosity. Why is it when he became a gal shalatomi? So Rashi says over there in Shabbos, Rashi said because they were showing the chayim kruim meisim, people are very evil people, even when they're alive, they're considered dead. Yeah, so he's already been dead for. he's a living dead man. Yes. He's a living corpse. So what Rabbi Shimon did to him was just revealed where it was really holding. And since he'd been dead a long time, he was just bones. Yeah.
But by the first story, why would they reveal to him the gemstones, the giant gemstones?
Church? Why would he go and reveal to the Romans?
No, by the first story with the giant Margolios. Why would the angels show him the giant gemstones if they're going to kill him anyways? What's the point of proving him wrong?
They wanted to show him that he was wrong. You understand? He's not going to kill. He only killed him after he came back, and he said to him, "Listen here, you're a good darshan. You should darshan." And he didn't do it when he laughed at him. You understand? In other words, you should ask your question another way around. Why didn't Rabbi Yochanan do it right on the spot when he laughed at him?
Yeah.
That's what you're asking. That's what you're asking?
Yeah,
well, that's a good question. Why did he do it right on the spot? Because Rabbi Yochanan didn't want him to die, without realizing that you don't just, you're not allowed to laugh at the words of the Chacham. Maybe you're not allowed to laugh because you've got to give them COVID. Although who knows that everything they say is really true. What the Eibishter and Rabbi Yochanan, they wanted that he should realize that everything the Chachamim said, and that's why you caught what you caught. You follow? That in effect, if you laugh at them, you're laughing at the emes, and indirectly you're laughing at the Eibishter. You understand? He should realize that. Not just it was some sort of a, how do you call it, honor type thing that the Chachamim have got that you're not allowed to laugh at them. Alright, good. So the Fisher comes to That's an amazing story. Al Chapanim, Rabbi Yochanan says that the gateways of the Beis HaMikdash, you got some sort of artistic tendencies all of a sudden. Well, don't take them out on the table, mate, huh? And McLeod, don't use those artistic tendencies during the class. Alright? Rabbi Yochanan holds that the gateways of the Beis HaMikdash, the Osid, are going to be only 30 amas high. Or 20, because they're going to make a gateway of 20 amas inside the 30 amas stone. Correct? The Gemara Kashia. So the Gemara says, what? The gateways into the Beis HaMikdash are only going to be 20 amas high when Mashiach will come. It's written Meisaveh. Meisaveh means we asked a kasha from a brisa, from the Tanoim. Oilech eschem keimem yus, Rabbi Meir oima mosayim amo, kishtei koime shel Adam ha-rishoin. That liasid love, everybody's going to be 200 amas high. Double the height of Adam ha-rishon. Meaning that Adam ha-rishon was 100 amas, it was 100 amas high. But the Yosid, we're going to be, everybody, 200 amas. But if, he says, how can you have the gateway of the Beis HaMikdash 20 amas? These guys are going to have to creep down on the shin bones or something to get into the gate. I mean, even more, they're going to have to drop down. Because what's 20 amas? Legabi 200, it's 1/10.
How high is 200 amas? How high
200 amas is about
60 floors as well.
yeah, it's about 200 amas is about 400 meters, isn't it?
100.
Huh?
100. Higher than the building?
100 meters?
60 floors.
No, an amma is only half a meter. Amma is only half a meter. 200 amas. Yeah, it's 100 meters. Yeah, I'm sorry, you're right. 100 meters. So 100 meters is pretty high.
That's like you walk over the wall.
Huh?
You can walk over it. So everybody's going to
There's a wall around, man, you don't understand. This is a gateway that he's making into Beis HaMikdash. Well, I mean, according to that, he can just step over the wall. Okay. Yes. Just 1 second, guys. I'm sorry. It was about the refrigerator.
Which one is pause? No, I better not touch it.
So we got the frigidaire fixed up, and my little frigidaire for some reason just decided to stop.
It's working again?
So he fixed my frigidaire. So I had him on my head, and then I had another whole thing on the phone of mine, and I had this one. I just, one of those days where you just sort of can't get, and then all of a sudden all the lights went out. I'm sort of peering through my glasses. So, anyway, they came back on after a while. All right, so Kumta, he said, according to that, they could just step over the whole thing of it.
Yeah, it's only 30.
I mentioned 100 meters high. I mean, that's pretty high. I mean,
and the wall's only 30.
So, Kumta, that's a kashia. That's Rabbi Meir. Rabbi Yehuda Meir Amma. A little more conservative. And he says he's only going to be 100 amas high, every man. Yeah, Keneged Heichal Ukoislo. Excuse me. The Rashi learns that in the second Beis HaMikdash, the wall with the gateway leading into the Beis HaMikdash was 100 amas in height altogether. So therefore, he says, according to the Heichal Ukoislav, No, wait a minute, not just no. Slicha, that's another cheshbon that Rashi makes. I'm sorry. Rashi makes two cheshbon. Rashi says that the whole heichal, the whole, what do you call it, sanctuary, the Beis Hamikdash, was from the top down to the bottom, 100 amas, and the far, and the far, a mensch, the Yosid Lovet is going to be 100 amas high. So the Gemara says, so therefore the Gemara asks a kasha from the Tanoim against Rabbi Yochanan, and he's only an Amoira. He can't say something which is against Tanoim. And if I answered the Gemara, Ki Ka'oma Rabbi Yochanan L'chvi Devei Zika. He only meant certain windows that are going to be in the wall of the Beis Hamikdash to let in air. Zika means like wind or breeze. The things were there for fresh air, they're going to be 20 amas high in the Beis Hamikdash to Leos. The gateway is going to be huge. The gateway is going to be huge. According to Reb Meir, the peoples are going to be walking around 200 amas high. That's a state in the Gemara. So Rashi says an amazing thing. That Rashi says, there's a Gemara Masechta Chagiga. And this is really the shorosh of the whole thing. And if you look up the Gemara Masechta Chagiga, it says when Adam Rishon was created, he was as big as from the heavens to the earth. Yeah. L'shamayim u'lekitzei hashamayim yom asher borasa Adam alei Adama. Or something. It's a pasuk in Sefer Dvarim right near the end. So that means that from one edge of the heavens down to the earth, Adam Rishon was Yom Baraz Adam Adam. I forgot the exact lashon.
But the heavens isn't a physical thing. So how can you measure distance?
Ismail, Adam Rishon was as high as the heavens down to the earth. Says the Gemara, but that was before the Chet. After the Chet, the Aviv used to put his hand on Adam Rishon, and he went, and he pushed him down to what you might call whatever. But he pushed him down to the way we understand. That's the way you might say. And that was like one of the punishments for the sin. However, it's brought over there in the Gemara thing at the side, and this is important, and it says that in the Yalkut, it's written that he put him down to Meya Amma. He put him down to Meya Amma. And therefore, Rashi over here in Sanhedrin, Rashi says that Adam Rishon Beis Koimish Adam Rishon Kedamlinan b'Masechta Chagiga Yeshamiyato HaKadosh Baruch Hu v'Hamido al Meya Amma. That's not written in our Gemara over there. That he stood him on Meya. It's just that he put him down. We don't know to what side. However, one of the big observers in the side of the Gemara over there, he says that Rashi had the gilsa of the Yalkut that they should put him down to 100, and so it's written in the Gemara on Bavash of the Rashbam. But the Rashbam was Rashi's Einikol. He also has written that the Gemara says over there in Chagiga that he was up into the heavens, but they should put him down to Meya Am. Therefore, it will be very good that Reb Meir says that he was twice koimemi us. It's like two koimes. Therefore, Reb Meir says that he's twice of what he was after the Chet. After the Chet, he was Meir, and according to Reb Meir, he becomes Mosai. However, here it's written that Rabbi Yehuda, he doesn't say that he was Meir Amor because that's what we learn in the Gemara. Reb Meir says a whole pasuk. He brings a whole pasuk to show that he was like the gateways of the Heichal. And the gateways of the Heichal were 100, although the size of the Heichal, were 100. Therefore, we have to say something. He doesn't necessarily say that that's what we brought him down for in in the Gemara Masechta Chagiga. And the fact that's a whole pilpul was ein kind of mochem lahari bezeh. Why would Rabbi Yehuda, if we had a Kabbalah, the Adam Rishon, we also came down to 100, why didn't he just say Kekoim Mosish or Adam Rishon? Why does he learn from another pasuk? But that would tend to indicate that maybe we're not goyrus in that Gemara with the Meya Amma. Or Rashi and the Rambam are goyrus, that it is Meya Amma. And maybe we have to say that they hold that since that was only a Kabbalah, it's not something that we know for sure, not clearly in the pasuk, and therefore we brought another pasuk to indicate that it was 100. And if anyway, they learned that it's Meya Amma, then that's a Dover Yadur, that the Eibush brought him down to Meya Amma. However, if you look it up in the Medrash Rabbah, it really becomes absolutely amazing. And over there it's written that first of all, came in Mewers. One opinion says, like Rashi brings here, Koim is a kufa. I'm just going to make you upright, and you don't have to be frightened of anybody. Then brings the opinion, Matai Mama. Oh, then brings the opinion, Meya Amma. He's going to be 100 of them. Then brings an opinion, Reb Meya Taki, brings him over there, Matai. Then brings an opinion, Shleish Meya. He's going to be 300. And there's another opinion also, he's going to be 600. Amas, and then there's another opinion in the Medrash Rabbah that he's going to be Charmeis Amma. He's going to be 900 Amas high. But that's about 450 meters. That is pretty high. Huh? How high would the Empire State Building be?
About 300. About 300.
400 meters?
300, no?
I haven't the faintest idea.
Each floor is like 2.5 meters.
Maybe not as high as that, but anyway. No, what I mean to say is maybe 450 meters is not as high as the Empire State Building. Anyway, it's pretty high. But far, 450 meters is about half a kilometer, no? So anyway, the Fizeh, the Medrash goes tremendously out of its way to indicate that Adam HaRishon was Ein Hanami, he was maybe only a certain height, of a Yosid, when Moshe will come, we're just going to multiply that, time after time. But either the Gemara only brings either 200 or 100. In the Gemara state, the Gemara is more, as it were, conservative in the matter. So I thought the shadow, what on earth is this? First of all, the Gemara says in Chagir that Adam HaRishon was absolutely huge. He was just mamish gigantic from heaven to earth, and part of the whole Indian of the punishment of the world for the Chet Eitzadas. But now we see the immensity of that Chet. It was that the Eibush brought him down, and according to the Yalchid, he brought him down to 100 Amas. So now it asks itself to Shaila, what is this Indian that before the Chet he was so massive, and then even after the Chet he was also pretty big, pretty massive, and then the Osid, it's all going to go back it's going to be back like that, according to Reb Meir with a double portion, and according to Rabbi Yehuda, it's going to be at least like it was then after the Chet, and according to these other Tanoim, it's going to be not like it was before the Chet, but it's going to be pretty immense. Comes along the Marshua, and the Marshua says, look, when the Eibush created the Mensch, he created him pretty big. Even after the Chet, he left him pretty big. He was pretty. Meya Am is also not too bad. Meya Am is pretty high. Says the Marshua, Liosid, the world is going to be re-established. And the world is going to be Cholopoch, like Gan Eden was, Ulai Odyoter. Like Rashi says, Ta'el itchem beinechem v'Gan Eden, First says the Mashur, it's not nice to say that the Eibishter is going to bring us all back into the world and create us just like we are now. Well, that's the inyan of Golos, and that's a heipach of the whole inyan. This is zicher that the Eibishter is only going to restart us all off. There we were in the time of still what you might call the greatness of Adama. In other words, not to be makapeach chaysan. Was lefise, why wouldn't he create us li mikter shamayim ad kirtzei shamayim? He should create us from the earth. So I would assume that what the Mashur means, the tzok kosov, the chaytei tadas, there's always kilo kind of be a slight reminder that that Adam did somehow or another fail. And now we've corrected all that, and we have milas, as we'll see. But nonetheless, there's a slight reminder to the world, and we at least create him the way he was in all of his glory after the Chet. But that's a dying tzorich biur. It needs a little bit of an explanation in the Divrei HaMashur. That the Mashur means that at least we're going to start off in the minimal way, the way it was after the Chet, and that's the way it's going to be when the Eibishter creates us anew at the time of Tchias HaMeisim. As they state in the Mashur. Afu pi sheyesh ledatik b'zeh. Well, if he said is that the Mashur learns that we're going to be created that way, and we're not going to be, how do you call it, taken off. It's not going to lessen our sachar. There will be less in size than we were at least prior to or immediately after the Chet, prior to the passing of Adam HaRishon, or to when he actually left Gan Eden. Maybe then he went down further. Or immediately after the Chet, he was still pretty amazing. That's how we're going to be created. Again, we're not going to be created, mamish. We're going to be built from the etzem laws, but we're going to be brought back in that way. So that's an amazing idea. So come along, some of the Sforim, and they ask, what we should do. What's going to be the ties of man so important? And there's another opinion over there in the Gemara Masechet Chagiga that Adam HaRishon, if he laid down, that he just covered the whole earth. He was just, his head was in Mizrach and his feet were in Marav, and he just covered the whole earth. In other words, something like the first opinion that he was, from heaven to earth. So that's also a pretty amazing sort of a calculation. So come along certain Sforim, and they suggest Be'ikar, we have to say that the Maila that's going to be when it'll be Tchias HaMeisim, after the whole Gil of Melech Mashiach, after all the Avodah in the Golas, is going to be a spiritual Maila, a Ruchnias Dika Maila. And since there's going to be such an immense Aliyah in Ruchnias Eitel HaAdam, it's going to affect him afilu begashmiyas. In other words, that everything is going to be proportionate to the gilui of the ruchniya. And that's what the Gemara said, Masechet Ketubah, that the trees are just going to automatically grow huge fruits, or some of them are even going to produce out clothes and all that sort of thing. And if you want to get yourself a suit, you just walk up to a tree in Eretz and size yourself a suit. And that hat you're wearing now, it's not going to go, you better just pull yourself off a posh Borsalino from how do you call it, a mild little tree. Not you? Yeah. You're a butler. Well, if you get a Borsalino off a tree, you're not going to do it. What's it about? Anyhow, come to Islafisa, that the whole world is going to be in a Gemara. As is at the Gemara in Masechet Ketubah, and we have to say that because Eretz Yisrael, which will fill over the whole world in a way, it's going to be so immense in its ruchnistic gila elokus that the physical kalim in the world will just, they will be ra'ui, and they will be different. and therefore they'll bear their whole function, which is to serve Adam and to serve the world in a much higher fashion, proportionate to their ruchnias. And a similar thing we find when I get to jump my mind what I was going to say. But anyway, we find many such examples of such an inyan where, according to the greatness of the spirituality, so the kli is going to be in that oifen. And if it's written clearly in the pasuk that the Zev and the Kevesh will lay down together with the whole inyan. But the Ravad learns that's mamish papashtas. Kach is a year. So what is a Zev doing with a Kevesh, and what's a lion doing with a chesed, and bears doing with other harmless animals? That everything's going to be so much ruchnias that everything will be on a different even, like it's written, lo yoriu v'lo yashchisu b'kol har kodeshi, that on the holy mountain, meaning Eretz Yisrael in general, that there's not going to be any destructive animals anymore. There's not going to be the whole concept anymore, and it's brought down that was the inyan of the Tevas Noach. And the Mitzvah Rebbe has got a huge arichet in Teres Chaim that the Teva was a inyan of Liosid Lava. It was really a gilu of what's going to be like Liosid, and it was like a foretaste of the whole inyan of the Geula. How come it didn't work out? What went wrong? And Avraham Avinu had to come into the world and start all over again, almost as it were. So, yesh l'shol v'ledaktik. The table was like that, because it was a gila elakus, as Ezek the Mitzvah Rebbe. It's so great that all the animals were just proportionate to that. They just had this unbelievable greatness in them. Ruchni. And if in Gashmis, it's completely different. And if we have to say that it's not that the Gemara means only in Ruchnias. You can't do that to the Gemara. You can't learn a inyan shaloi kifi pshutai. Or we can't say a biur, and that the Maila HaRuchnias was so immense that will bring to the Shleimas in Gashmias L'chol HaPachas of Meya Amma or Matayim, or according to the Medrash, unbelievable sizes greater than that. And you have to bear in mind that the Medrash Rabbah was a Medrash of Chakmei Eretz Yisrael. And Dafki in Eretz Yisrael, where the Gilei Lakus is so profound, and to learn Torah in Eretz Yisrael is such an unbelievable zechus. Yadua that some of the great Amoraim from Bavel, Dafki came to Eretz Yisrael because they wanted to learn, like Zayra, brought in the Gemara, but Uid, it's a tremendous thing, and therefore they saw the whole inyan in a much greater proportion. However, what comes out is that we need to understand what is the click. When you're on the computer, you sort of click into something. What is the click in that's going to make this immense reinstatement of the Adam with this amazing Gilui, Ruchnias, and that will click him into this amazing state of his physical state, mamish, in such a great oifen that he will be. And originally, when the Eivah was created, he was more or less unlimitedly great. And that is that the Adam is the Merkez Kolabriya. He's like the center, and everything is according to him. The way the Adam is, that's the way everything is in the Bria. So we see the famous Kashia. But it's brought down in the words of the Mezritcha Magid. The Kasha was asked by the Marshur, probably by even great Chachamim before that, and that is that in Kriyat Shema, in the first parsha, we say, "V'aftas Hashem Rakecha v'chol avocha, v'chol nafshecha, u'v'chol me'idech." And we say, "V'chol me'idech." Three things. In the second parsha, we say, "Le'avos Hashem Elokecha." You have to love Hashem, uli ovdei, and even to serve Him. V'chol levavchem u'v'chol nafshechem. Ni, who is v'chol meidechem? Who you do? And if says the Gemara in Masechta Boches, also Rabbi Shimon Bar Yochai. It's about the whole of Rabbi Shimon Bar Yochai. That in a time when they didn't doing the Eibishter's will, Bisman Shoishim Ratzina Shol Mokim, they don't have to do anything. So don't go. All the physical parnasa will be looked after by the goyim, by other people. And Rabbi Shimon Bar Yochai learns that that's not even when Mashiach will come. That's even now. If you really give yourself away completely and utterly, and the Eibush looks after you, you have to be careful what you say to these guys. The next thing is, they'll be breaking up all their courses in what they've been doing and the whole thing. And say, we learned in the Shir Kloda, we're going to just completely and utterly give ourselves away. Bye-bye. I say, help Rabbi Shimon. So the only answer to you is that the Gemara says that not everybody can quite make that. However, says the Gemara, but when you're not doing Ritzayna Shomakim, when you're not keeping the Eibish's will, then the second parsha is right. Then we are started to Gadelcha, and you have to gather in your field, you have to gather in your flocks, and you have to sow, and you have to look after the field. So it comes on everybody, and I say, well, why would that be called not doing the Eibish's will? It's written, at least, the Alter B'chol Avavchem Orchol, and it's written that you keep all the mitzvahs. If you're not doing the Sod, the Eibush, B'chol Avavchem B'chol Nafshechem, that's pretty good going. Why would that be called Ein Oisim Retain the Show? Malke. So it came along, the Mezrich Magid, and the emphasis of the Marshal is already Ramazan that quite a long time before. And he says, you know, for what? He said, because in the second parsha it's not written B'chol Miyai. In other words, you can be doing everything, and you can be great, you can be called, you're doing, you're serving, and everything, but if it's not B'chol Miyai Decha, except nicht do it. And therefore, you have to work in the world, you have to worry, you have to worry about all the inyanim, you have to do. Yeah? Oh, but if you do B'chol Miyai Dechem, then Rabbi Shimon's got a point. Yes. Rabbi Shimon seems to be winning the. Rabbi Shimon seems to be winning. So it comes along the Rebbe, Alter Rebbe, and a famous Maimon, and the Rebbe Maraz, and the Rebbe did some Tzedek, and they all got my money on this Indian, and they say, we should do it. Mazel. And they say that how can you do Yiddishkeit? You're supposed to keep Yiddishkeit every day as if it were a new thing, as if every day when you do the mitzvahs, like you never done them before. Yeah, Rashi brings it. When you get to the Shema dot, you have a you b'kol yom beinecha chacha chadoshim. That the mitzvahs have to be, Rashi brings it in Pirush Al Torah, that every day when you serve the Eibush, you start off again, you say Moed Ani Lefanach in the morning, it's got to be new Torah mitzvah. Wow, never done this before in my life. Just like you got it at Mount Sinai. Nee, Vater, was is te weg daar? It's welcome to us. It's an amazing thing. You call Yom Beinach Chadosh Pirush Apshat in a pussy. Rashi says is what it's supposed to be like. I mean, that's pretty impossible. How's a man? He gets used to doing things. Grows up, you know, and he does it the whole time. But sometimes, he would never dream of not putting on food. I mean, to do it every day as if he'd never did it. You know, yes, this Mami said, you think he just got it from Mount Sinai today? Oh, this is the sort from B'chol Miyai Dechem. That's it. B'chol Miyai Dechem. In other words, you're going to be absolutely in it, unlimited. Me'id, no hagboris. You got to be in it with no hagboris. How are you going to do that? So the question is back again. Right, I'll be in it without hagboris. Here I go. So, yeah, how do you get those hagboris? So you got to realize, what are you doing when you do a mitzvah, for example? What are you really doing? So Chassidus says that you bring down not just the light of the Eibush which is shy to the world, Mamalei, but do a mitzvah, you bring down Soivei Kolam. Rotzen at the Eibush. How do you do that? Yeah, did you give away your rotten? You just don't do the mitzvah. It's a nice thing. People say it's a great thing. Or there'll be mamshich certain hamshoches in certain spirits. You give yourself away completely to the Eibishter. Kabbalah self. What does the Alter Rebbe say in Shulchan when you put on the Iyar and the Shul Rosh? That you gotta be mevatel your rotten. Yeah, how do you use all that expression? I was forgotten. You got to be mavatel yourself to the Eibush in mitzvahs too, and it's very much that. If you are, then you bring down oil. I say you call. Chassidus says that the oil which is nimshach alidei mitzvah, any mitzvah which is seiver kol almin, well, that has never been in the whole Seder Ishtaushelas before. So you might say, well, wait a minute, I put on tefillin, he puts on tefillin, he puts on tefillin. We're all mamshik the same inyan. It's all the same. It's all the same thing, isn't it? So this is the most amazing thing. Oh no, it's not. When you're dealing with Mamalei Kol Almin, it's also new every moment, but it's not called new because it's basically the same level and it's the same. We don't need to keep everything going. Sometimes it's little changes, no doshem, but on the whole. Obviously, when you bring down Seivu Kol Almin, Seivu Kol Almin has never been in the world. The door Makif or Mundal in the world, it's always something new. It's the most amazing. Think about it. That every Amshach, when he puts on tefillin and he puts on tefillin and he puts on, each of them are mamshich a new light which has never been in the world, and it's not the same light. Because each one, according to his particular individuality, is mamshich a new makir. That's an amazing thing. As I stated, and the fact it's written that when Mashiach will come, that each tzaddik is going to have a chuppah. And that one tzaddik won't be able to enter the other person's chuppah. You won't be able to get in. Let somebody in. So I did somebody into your chuppah was Mr. As a stupa. So and he won't be able to get in. Because his seiver, a chuppah is seiver kolam. As I practice in the Mamoreh. A chuppah is seiver kolam. Your seiver kolam and another tzaddik seiver kolam, not the same. It's two different unbelievable lights, and they're so unlimited that they can't get together. They're sort of separate. I mean, there'll be a lot of actors, of course, but in them private. Come to us that when you do a mitzvah beetle to the Eibush and Kabbalah self, you're mashich a new inyan which has never been in the world before. And that's how do you do it? A bit of Reb Shimon's inyonim, b'chol miyoi, you go out of your kelim, out of your hagbolas, as much as we can. We can't be like Reb Shimon completely. And now, but with Ms. Megalia, that unbelievable inyan. Erafa says the Rabbeim in these Maimar mentioned, Yisalachti b'soyachachem, or that's it. That is like a halicha that you have to do when you get up in the morning. It's like moedani, and you have to do things. You have to change yourself. You have to be more edel. Well, that's all within yourself, but that's malikol. And then when you do a mitzvah and you're holding by a mitzvah which is only Ratzon Hashem, and tefillah is also a mitzvah. You get involved in davening with the emes of pnimiyus. Then you bring down all of a sudden that the Eibush, he comes down from Mailah. And that's him only. So it's like we're going up and the Eibush is coming down. It's like how do you call it, a rotzever? Show you. He's salakti, going back and forth. And the far says, how do you call him? Rashi, Tayel eschem, began. I'll walk together with him. We'll go back and forth. Tayel, we'll stroll around. We'll go back and forth. However, says the Alter Rebbe in his mind, the most amazing thing. He said that can be even now. He said, it's going to happen. Avisalakti b'seichachem, that the Eibush is going to come down, it's going to be such a huge revelation, Liosid, that it's going to be Atzmaseit Seif. In other words, even higher than Seif of Kol Almin or Mamish, the Eibush himself, to use the expression. The real McCoy, as they say in the old language. In other words, that's going to come down, and that's going to rest in what's been going on the whole time. And that's going to take over, and therefore it'll be pure, everything will be really Lamaila, but you wouldn't have got that far if you hadn't done your little bit all the time that was previous. But we're now Zechet, and it's really all from Hashem, Isalachti, but I wasn't called Isalachti is doch a kill implying that there's something going back as well. So therefore he says that will be so high, that will be koilin in itself, both a little smaller milas that what you did going up and what the Eibush gave you, Hadoshim, he's going to give you a whole new, amazing, involving Chorah, that will involve both of them. That will be coil both of them together, and that's what's called Leotzit, the Indian from Seivev Ha'achmi or Seivev Ha'kloli. It's going to be Nimshik Lamata, and both what was before Seivev and Mamala, both those are going to be sort of nested inside that, and the Eibush is going to give this amazing, which is called everything together, and then it's going to be also called Hisalachti. It's going to be like Lamaila Lamata inside the big Lamaila Lamata, inside the big one. And so that's what it is, that there's like a double koima, there's like a double standing, like a double koima. So the Alter Rebbe said, and the Rav Marash, and all the Rebbeim and these great Maimorim, they say that when this great tremendous cloud, amazing makif liosid, when Vitchias amazing will come down, then you're going to be very good a koima of Meir Amo. Pirish, you're going to have in all the Esesphiras biyachad. All the Esesphiras are all going to be boom inside you. And you're going to have all of them with all the miles it could possibly be in all the Esesphiras. In other words, 10 times 10. You're going to have 10 times all the spheres how they're including one from the other. How much is 10 times 10? 100. At a fair, it'll be understanding what Reb Meir says. Reb Meir says it'll be double the koima for Adam Marishan, which is 100. Double is 2 times. It's going to be called both what you did and what that's all going to be perfected by this big. However, it appears if you look in the mind of the Alter Rebbe and the other Rebbeim, it appears that they prefer to learn that it was only Meir Amma, that Adam Marishan was only Meir Amma, and that our height Liosid is going to be Meir Amma. And the Alter Rebbe says Mufuri. The Alter Rebbe says since we'll have Meir Amma Begashmiyas, Beruchiyas, the Meir Amma Gambe Gashmi, which means you got to watch out for Chaim Cohen. He's going to be Leozid, he's going to be Meir Amma, and he's going to be a Kohen and all the good Sachen. And little Davey, watch him, call him over there, Eliovich. He's going to be walking around, not on stilts. He's going to be Meir Amma. Fabuous. So the Alter Rebbe said, it's coil, it should be 200. L'chora Reb Meir's right. So the Alter Rebbe said, no, because the spheres have both what's called Yoshar and Choizer. The spheres are always going back and forth, the way they are at the moment. Therefore he says in the Eibush is great, unbelievable makif, but that'll be coil both Choizer and Yoshev Chayza, but it's all inside the 100. It'll be like 100 going back and forth the whole time, but it's all inside the 100. Not that it's going to be 2 separate sets of Meir, but inside Meir, like going up and going down the whole time. That's Mashkona. The Alter Rebbe. However, it shouldn't be. There's a remez to Reb Meir. That's very easy to understand Reb Meir that way. And then if you want to be like the Chachmei Eretz Yisrael, then you can go 300, 600, 900. The sky is the limit. Mamish computer, the sky is mamish the limit. we're going to be very elevated beings. Lioset Love, Berufnias, Mamelagam, Begashmis, Kipshute. The world is going to be a completely different place. Although not that it's going to alter, it's going to be, Olam Abriya or something like that. It's going to have the milas of Olam Abriya, but it's still going to be Olam Ha, Olam Hazet. So you might ask the Shaila, which maybe you don't. Just have a listen, it's very long after 9:30. Well, let's finish with the Shailas, let's get home, or let's do something. But you got to say, where are all these peoples? They're going to be so huge, and all the Yidden are going to be so. It's interesting. What's going to happen with them? Are they going to be higher, or what's going to be with them? I just haven't had the opportunity to go into that yet. But what's going to be with all these people? They're going to be huge, So, if a man says Meya Amos high, then his arms along, everything's bigger. He's going to take up. You're going to have all these millions, billions of Yidden that stand up. After all the generation, and certain Goyim are also going to stand up. Where are you going to fit the whole thing in? How's it all going to work? And if both things are true. But Emes, the world is going to be like Olam Yitzira or Olam Abriya. In other words, that there'll be a lot more, as it were, space, but it'll still be Olam Agashmi. It'll be Olam Agashmi, but there'll be room for everybody. There'll be room for everybody. And a remez is in the Beis Hamikdash. It's in this. I think it's in this. Perek this week. It's written that even though all the people came up to Jerusalem for the Godim, it's written that nobody ever said, it's a push for me to sleep in Jerusalem. I want to find somewhere else to sleep. Lo yoma odom tzali hamokim sha'olin beYerushalayim. Nobody ever said, I'm not going to have any place where I'm going to sleep with all these thousands of people in Jerusalem. Nobody ever said that. That even though they obviously slept in all sorts of corners and all sorts of places and who knows what, but nobody ever said that it was, a shtup. Nobody ever complained. Like in 770, nobody ever complained about the shtufinage. Only indirectly. They said, oh, look at my kapot is all torn, look at all that happened to me, I'm bruised, I've got my arm in a thing and everything. The whole thing is, that they never said, oh, I'll never go to 770 again because of all dots. How come dots and all dots? Nobody ever said that. I'm the same thing with Miran and Lag Bima. Nobody ever said, oh, I'll never go again to that place. With all the stuffing and all them miles, I'm never going to go there again. Everybody comes back the next time, That's a taste of what's going to be Lios. You're going to have all these huge human beings, and they're going to be huge in Ruchnia. There's the spirit is going hidden in the unbelievable Sogis and Inyonim and Alakus and we saw Das in our minds. It was going to have Das in us saying save and it did. Alpha becomes room for everybody. Because, business as usual, Beis Hashem, and everything's going to be business as usual, but in a very unusual way. Okay, guys, so have a good Shabbos.
Yeah.